Welcome to the Napa Valley, everyone. Is this an amazing retreat venue or what? Doesn't get better than this. Our theme this year is F1. F1. We're going to move fast all throughout the weekend, and we're going to start right now. We have a lot of ground to cover. Let's go into it. We have a bit of a tradition at these retreats where we like to benchmark where we are. How are we growing? How are we evolving? How are we changing? And the way we do that is we look back over the year so it can help us look forward. But this is Fennemore. We like to do things in a fun way, so we're going to continue with this tradition here. You've seen these before if you've been to one of these retreats. This is a catch box mic. It's squishy, you can throw it, it's fun, and you can talk into it. And we're going to go ahead and answer the question, give me one word that describes the last 12 months at Fennemore. Let's compare and contrast to what we've heard before. I already see a hand in the air. This is coming to you. I want your name, your office, your practice area. And when you are done, Shannon, I want you to take it and throw it to one of your friends. Or throw it at one of your friends, depending on who they are. Here we go.
I'm Shannon Pierce. I am from Reno. I'm the Vice Chair of the Labor and Employment Group. And this year was all about excellence.
Excellence. All right. I like that. Great word. Yeah. Give it up for Shannon. Let's throw it. Here we go. Oh, my gosh. First injury of the day. Here we go. That's you. Oh, you're on.
Hi, everybody. I'm Leslie Hart. I'm from the Reno office, and I'm in business litigation. And I thought the last year was fun. I thought it was great to be here at Fennemore. We had great time, great success, lots of new friends with us.
I love it. Fun.
Okay.
We want to have fun here, right? We don't have to be boring. Great. Love it, Leslie. Chuck it over. Oh, look at that. Pegged him.
I told Christine not to look at it. David Barton, Phoenix office. I would say the last year was fast. Really fast.
Fast. All right. Right on brand, right on theme. I like it. Thank you, David. This is getting dangerous. Okay.
Hi, I'm Mark Hawkins in the Las Vegas office. I practice in real estate. I would say, to steal a friend's word, exhausting.
Exhausting. There's a lot of change happening. I think that's a good word, a fair word. Okay, we're going over here. Everyone's going to be involved. Go ahead. Let's see it.
I'm just going to chuck it.
Chuck it. There we go. Everyone avoids it. They're like, I'm not touching that thing.
All right, Mike Sarconi, business litigation, formerly San Diego, but I'm forward. I'm working out of Ohio. And I'd say the last year was very successful.
Successful, all right. Great words, everyone. Give it up for the people who had no choice but to participate. We'll bring that up. All good words. I like them. All accurate. My word is a little bit different. My word this year is accelerating. Accelerating, right? It's F1 theme, got to go with this. And we've been doing this for the past couple of years. Our theme last year was full throttle innovation, and when you're going full throttle, you're accelerating. But as we look ahead through the twists and turns of the legal world, we see some caution signs ahead. What are these caution signs? Well, I've got some new data. I love data from Thomson Reuters. State of the Legal Industry report talks about what's happening to law firms specifically. Well, there's a lot there to digest. So I did what many of you do, I hope, is I went to our DOT system. I took the whole big report, I put it in, and I said, DOT, give me one image that describes the state of the legal industry for law firms. And this is what I got back. Dumpster fire. I don't know. Maybe an AI overstatement, maybe not. Let's decide together. First area I want to talk about, demand. Demand for legal services from law firms. What do we see here? Well, it's declining. In 2026, year to date, we've seen for the first time in several years a decline in demand. Well, why is that happening? I want to draw a distinction here. I want to draw a distinction between a demand for legal services generally and the demand for legal services from law firms. The demand for legal services generally is actually unchanged. It's been flat. But it's declining for law firms. Why is that? Anyone have a guess? AI. That's part of it. Our clients are using AI in particular, so they're not sending as much work to law firms. Any other guesses? In-house GCs, yeah, they're saying, okay, we're going to tighten our belts. That's true. Expense, we'll talk about that. Good answers. But the other answer is we have a lot more competition from non-law firms. We have legal technology companies, we have alternative legal service providers, and of course, our clients saying, we're just going to bypass you altogether. So that's leading to the decline for demand for legal services. Now let's couple this with cost. I heard expense here in the audience. Well, what are we seeing when it comes to cost? Well, we know that virtually every category that we measure has gone up significantly over the past several years. Yes, that's technology. You think of cybersecurity, AI, but it's also labor costs, it's real estate costs, it's recruiting costs, all going up, which means that when it comes to profit, which is what we care about as a business, as a law firm, we see that getting squeezed. So maybe you feel a little bit like Shannon Schmoyer from our San Antonio office, or James De Los Reyes from our Oakland office, and you say, James, what do we do about this? We can't stop this change in the world from happening. We can't stop AI. We can't stop the rise of technology companies. So how do we respond to this? There are many answers to this question, and we've been exploring them over the past few years. We did that in San Diego, Las Vegas. We did that in San Francisco with our strategic plan. But today, for this retreat, this time, this conversation, I want to zoom out a little bit and talk about something that's much more fundamental to what we do. I want to talk about client service. This really is the core of a law firm. We are in the business of serving clients. We're in the business of helping clients. So we better do it well, because if we don't, we'll lose business, and we may not stay in business. We decided that we wanted to explore this concept. And I know you all talk to your clients, that's a good thing. We send out surveys, that's a good thing. But sometimes you need a little more than that. We decided to enlist the help, in fact, of Thomson Reuters again, and said, why don't you talk to our clients? Because maybe our clients will tell you something that they won't tell us. Thomson Reuters did this. And Thomson Reuters gave us a letter grade when it comes to client service. Oh, was right, okay. Ominous, excited, I don't know, let's find out. Here's what I want to do. By a showing of hands in this Thomson Reuters report card, how many people think we got an A when it comes to client service? Got some hands, some waving. I wouldn't say a lot of hands, but we have some. How about a B? Many more hands, okay. C. A few, got a few. Dare I ask, D or F? Whew. I didn't know how this one was going to go, honestly. Okay, if you said D or F, you're probably at the wrong law firm. You shouldn't be here. Let's hope we're not doing that. Okay, the answer is, you're all wrong. This was not a high school report card with a letter grade. It was actually a kindergarten report card where we got satisfactory. Satisfactory, right? You know those report cards. Good, excellent, satisfactory. E for effort, better than an E for effort. I don't know how you feel about it, but maybe you feel like John McHugh from our Denver office, or June Monroe from Irvine, and you say, satisfactory's not so hot. We want to exceed expectations. We want to blow away expectations. We want our clients raving about our service, and satisfactory doesn't cut that. So let's actually look at some comments from this survey, real comments. And the first thing I'm going to say is that overall, the feedback was really good. And it was nice to hear that we're doing a good job overall. That's probably why we've endured as a firm for 140 years. It's why, in fact, there are even clients taking this survey. So I'm going to go over a little bit of the good, but I'm going to emphasize the areas, shall we say, of opportunity more. So I don't want you to feel overwhelmed by this, but we need to talk about it in a real way. So let's start with some of the good. First theme in the survey was, we have smart lawyers. Quote, they're incredible when it comes to strategy. All right, we like that. We want to give good legal strategy. Another, they're the best attorneys I've ever worked with. Well, that's pretty good. Best attorneys, right? Doesn't get much better than that. How about this one? They just perform. They just perform. And if there was a theme to the positive comments, I would say the biggest one is we're really good at what we do substantively. We know our areas of practice. We give good advice. That's a good starting point. That's a good starting point, but that's not the end point. Now let's get to the not so good. Let's get to the bad. First theme was cross-selling. Cross-selling. Quote, if they want to represent me in other areas, they should improve outreach. Well, outreach about what? How about this one? I don't even know what other services Fennemore provides. So think about this. Maybe you're a litigator and you do a great job on a litigation matter, but are you letting the client know that we handle transactional matters, M&A matters, ERISA matters, general labor and employment matters? What we're hearing back from our clients is we are not doing as good a job as we could at that, which means we're not fully serving the clients. How about another area? Succession planning. Let's talk about this one. There was poor management of handoffs with retirements. Poor management of retirements. This is a big deal in the legal industry generally. It takes a lot of work to be successful at this. It takes a lot of time on the part of the lawyer who's retiring and the successors. So we need to work on that. Here's another one. When lawyers retire, you better have someone ready to step in. That is an expectation of the clients. They need to know that their matters are not falling through the cracks, or they will leave us. But wait, there's more. Now let's get to the ugly. We're talking wheels falling off, sparks flying. What do we see here? How about this one? Communication as a theme. I'd appreciate an acknowledgement of my email. Yeah, that'd be nice to acknowledge our clients' emails. That's a good thing generally. Let's go on with that. Sometimes we'll go a few days without hearing back. A few days. So different businesses handle response times in different ways. Law firms do this. They set goals, benchmarks for responding to clients. For some, it's 3 hours, some it's 6 hours, some it's 12 hours, some 24 hours. But I can promise you that one length of time that is not in any law firm's policy is 48 hours. Not acceptable. That is too long to go without getting back to a client. Let's continue forward with communication. There, Fennemore, not seen as tech forward. What? I heard it there. Yeah, that's my reaction too. We're not seen as tech forward? You're kidding me. Think about all we're doing, the time, the effort, the energy we're investing in Project Blue Wave AI, everything Adrian D'Amico and Dean Savino are doing, the DOT system, the 12 niche vertical platforms we've rolled out in the last 2 years, and we're not seen as tech forward? To me, that's not a reality issue. That is a communication issue. It means that we're not telling our clients what we're doing, what we're investing in, so they can understand how they can get better results, how we can be more efficient, how we can provide more value. That is a failure on our part, and it's something we need to work on. Let's continue forward. Partnership. What do I mean by that, partnership? Let's take a look. There, Fennemore, far from what I would call a partnership type relationship. Let's look again at another. Fennemore is reactive versus a proactive partner in our business. Of all the themes, of all the quotes we got in this feedback survey, this is the one that makes me wince the most. Because this is the one that says, yes, we may be really smart, we may do good on this deal, we may do good on this litigation matter, but we're not thinking more broadly about our clients. We're not in a partnership with them. We don't understand their business. We don't understand what's keeping them up at night. And that is a huge missed opportunity. So maybe you hear all this and you feel a little bit like Katie Calloway, Kevin Grant, Terry Santos, or Travis Pacheco. You feel down. Oh, this doesn't feel good to hear. A couple of thoughts on this. First, I'm going to go back to what I said at the beginning. I'm showing you the worst. These were the worst quotes. Most of this is very, very favorable. So I think our takeaway is we're doing a solid job, but we can do better. Well, what do we do to get a better score, to have better results when it comes to our clients thinking about us in client service? Well, one answer could be, you may say, James, what this tells me is we don't value client service enough as a firm. We need to put greater emphasis on it as a value. There may be some truth to that. There may be some truth to that. But I think that really is not the answer. Because I'm going to go out on a limb and say if we were to survey everyone in this room, all of us would say we do place client service as a very high value of the firm and for us individually in our practices. That's the reason we came into the practice of law to begin with, to help others, to guide others, to serve others. So I don't think it's a lack of want. To me, I think it's something different. I think it's that we don't have the right habits when it comes to client service, at least not consistently. In the drop bags in your rooms, you got a copy of the book on the screen behind me called Atomic Habits, New York Times bestseller, very, very well-known, iconic book, and it's written by James Clear. And the concept is, how do we take these lofty ideas like the value of client service, and how do we convert it into something that's actionable, something we can actually move the needle with? Well, I know you all will read about it, but let me give you a little preview from the author himself, James Clear.
There are many reasons why habits matter. You know, habits can influence so many different areas of life. Almost every result you get is a lagging measure of the habits that precede them. So your physical fitness is a lagging measure of your training habits. Your bank account is a lagging measure of your financial habits. Your productivity is a lagging measure of your prioritization habits. Even little stuff like the amount of clutter in your living room is a lagging measure of your cleaning habits. And so often in life, what we want is for better outcomes to happen. What we want is to have better results. But it's kind of one of these ironic things. The results are not actually the thing that needs to change. It's like fix the inputs and the outputs will fix themselves. Adjust the habits that precede the results and you'll be carried naturally to a different destination. If you think about what you do, take it in the workplace, for example, there's almost no result that you get at work that's just a single instance and then you're done. It's the accumulation of many efforts, of many actions that you take that really delivers a better outcome. So if you can master your habits, it doesn't necessarily guarantee results, but it's hard to find something that puts you in a better position to get good results.
Habits don't guarantee results, but they put us in a position to get good results. So my question to all of you is, what are the habits that lead to excellent client service? What are the habits that lead to excellent client service? Told you these were coming back. We're going to start on this side. So again, name, office, practice area. I want to hear the habits that lead to excellent client service. Here we go. Oh, there we go. Bounce right out of your hands.
I'm Travis Pacheco. You saw me up there.
You were looking so sad, Travis.
And that was totally AI. Did not pose for that picture, by the way. I don't know, something simple we talked about earlier, like committing to something like I will always respond to clients within 24 hours. I think it's something, a habit you can do and stick to.
Yeah, well, it's a big deal to clients, so why don't we set some timelines ourselves? I like it. Let's go this direction.
Put your coffee down.
Travis was a baseball player, so I know you have a good arm on you.
Ready? David, catch this.
You're targeting someone. Oh, but you missed. Good thing you're a great lawyer, Travis. I see why that baseball career didn't work out.
Okay. And then I'm giving it to you. I'm Lexi Davis. I'm a healthcare associate in the Denver office. And this is a little bit specific, but I would say advance notice to clients of when we will not be able to be responsive.
Oh, absolutely, that's a great one. Details matter. So if you're going to be on a vacation, let your clients know. I'm sure everyone did that for this retreat, right? I don't know. All right, let's go. Great one, Lexi. Thank you. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my God.
All right.
passing the buck.
Jay Coots out of Sacramento office, business and finance. I think meeting expectations is important. You have to set expectations early with the client, make sure you understand their expectations and always meet those.
Absolutely. But to meet expectations, you have to understand what they are, right? That's the starting point. And the question is, do we always do that? I like it. Thank you, Jake. Right over here. Oh, there we go. On your feet. There's a disagreement about who's going up. There's actually legal discussion happening here. Okay.
You know.
Go ahead. Oh, got to stand up. Name, office, practice area.
Hello, everyone. Peyton, San Antonio. Sorry, I was conferring with my co-counsel. Habits. I don't know. From an associate point of view, I feel like it just comes with prep. So, like, we do a lot of MSJs. So, I mean, getting documents reviewed in time and trying to do the steps that will make the dispositive motion easier, like charting the claims.
Yeah, preparation. That's a great one for life. Really good. Fantastic. You can throw it back to Jen here. Okay, these are all great suggestions. Meeting expectations, being prepared, being responsive. I agree with all of them. Great, great answers. But here's the rub. We're super busy. You have deadlines to meet. You have client obligations. You have motions you're drafting. You have business development you're working on. James is always on your case about a 15-minute challenge. How do we possibly do this? How do we do it? Because it sounds like to have excellent client service, we have to give more. Maybe it's 5% more. Maybe it's 10% more. And you may say, James, I am maxed. I can't give 10% more. So the question is, what do we do about that? Well, thankfully, James Clear discusses that too, but he does it not in the context of F1. He does it in the context of bicycles. You know, those things you pedal. Let's hear what he has to say.
You know, cycling is a competitive sport, and around 2003, 2004, the British cycling team found themselves in this interesting position, which is they were trying really hard. They were training hard. They had all kinds of, you know, top-tier resources and coaching, and their performance wasn't there. And around this time, they hired this new performance director, this coach by the name of Dave Brailsford. You know, and so he had this concept, he had this idea that he called the aggregation of marginal gains. And the way that he described it was the 1% improvement in nearly everything that we do related to cycling. So they started with a bunch of small changes that you would expect a cycling team to focus on. Like they put slightly lighter tires on the bike, they designed a more ergonomic seat. And so Brailsford said, you know, look, if we can actually do this, right, if we can make all these little 1% improvements related to cycling, then I think we can win a Tour de France within 5 years. Now, he ended up being wrong. They won the Tour de France in 3 years, and then they repeated again the 4th year with a different rider. So this idea that 1% improvements are not just kind of nice to have, they're not just a bonus or a little bit extra, but actually can be the pathway to unlocking elite levels of success. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to do something radical. It doesn't necessarily mean that you need to do something earth-shattering. It just means that you need to do the reasonable thing, the sustainable thing, the small thing, consistently over a broad span of time.
So maybe we don't have to give 10% more. Maybe we can make strides by giving 1% more. Can we give 1% more? I think we can. What do you think? Yeah, we can. So let's now take this concept of 1%, doing a little bit more, and let's take what we heard from the feedback survey. Let's take what we heard from these Catchbox mics talking to all of you. But let's go to an even higher source, a direct source. Someone who lives this, who makes decisions, who hires, who fires. Let's see what they have to say. Last year, we had a GC panel. On it, we had a number of chief legal officers. They talked about these concepts. One person who joined us on that panel was Sara M. She's the chief legal officer of Visco, which is based right down the street in San Francisco. And we had great insights from her. It was so good, in fact, we ran out of time. We decided we want to pick it up here. So let's talk about this idea of 1% and getting better, and let's hear what she has to say. Everyone, please join me in giving a big round of applause to Sara M. Lee. All right.
High five.
Thank you, Sarah. All right, have a seat.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, we're excited to have you.
Yeah.
This is fantastic. Okay, here we are. Talking about this concept of client service, you saw a little bit about what we heard in our feedback survey, but we want to hear from you. So I want to just go right into the heart of this. When you think about the firms that you hire time and again, repeatedly, versus those that you quietly stop calling, what's the big difference that you see there? Is that results? Is that making a difference? And I guess, given the topic, what role does client service play in that? Let's start there.
Yeah, absolutely. When I think about the firms that I go back to over and over again, I would say they treat me like a co-pilot versus a contracted relationship. Maybe a co-driver or navigator is a better
There we go,
on theme. Yeah, but they reduce my load, right? They anticipate my needs, sometimes even before I voice them, and they build trust, and care about client service, which is so critical, and they don't nickel and dime me. And I have to feel that, it's a true partnership. And I would say, we're partners through this together. They help me navigate through, thorny issues. And, on the billing side too, I would say is really important, because when I was actually at a law firm, I remember really going through every bill and making sure that they were accurate. Because for startups, which I'm at a startup right now, having a massive legal matter could be the difference of potentially making payroll. And yes, it might be different for a later stage client or someone who's public, but everyone is working through a budget. And I think that could be a very kind of significant way you could erode trust, is by not managing the invoicing. And I've seen invoices that don't have the right information. They don't include the discounts that we've negotiated. So then I'm going and having to scrutinize the bills, and that ultimately means more of my time, and then potentially more negotiation for you. So I would say really care about that, because that is important. And I would say another approach to actually put this in practice, to show up for your client, is really to kind of have a layered approach. I would say it's like a pit stop crew. That's another analogy, but really kind of working as one unit. How I did it when I was in the law firm was we had a partner, a senior associate staffed, maybe a junior associate and a paralegal, and maybe there's like a basic sheet that you're following or something informational where you know the basics of your client, so your client isn't having to go and give context over and over again. And if one of you are out, you can easily kind of have someone in and have seamless handoff. That is so critical. So it's really a firm providing great service, not one individual. And that, I think, is what keeps you going back.
So lots of themes in there. I heard a concept of partnership, which is what we heard in our survey, really important that the lawyers, the law firm understands what you're doing. I heard the concept of details matter.
Yeah.
Right, when it comes to billing, that, yeah, maybe that's not what you hired the lawyer to do, but are they paying attention? I've got to imagine if they're not paying attention on the bills, you may say, are they paying attention to other matters?
Absolutely.
And then this concept of teamwork. So that's great. Well, all right, let's move and talk a little bit about a theme of responsiveness. And this was something that I heard when we were throwing around our catchbox mic. It's something we heard in the survey. We know that's important.
Yes.
But we also know that being a good lawyer is really important too. So I'm going to give you a hypothetical. We're lawyers, right? We love hypotheticals.
Yeah.
Here's my hypothetical. You have a brilliant lawyer, best lawyer in their field, really good at what they do. But let's assume that lawyer is not as responsive as you would like. My question is, does brilliance win? What role does responsiveness play there, and where's the line?
Yeah, no, great question. I would say brilliance gets you in the door, right? You want a lawyer who knows what they're doing and they're great at what they do. But I would say that responsiveness keeps you retained. So it's so critical. We're in the service industry, we're service providers, and I think it's so important to make sure that you provide excellent client service. And in my opinion, is that that's making a client feel seen and heard. And when someone's responsive to you, it's showing I value your time, I care about your problems, and ultimately it's signaling I'm here for you. You can rely on me. And that, I think, is much better than a perfect response delivered slowly. So I would say responsiveness is key. When I was an associate, I used to joke that I slept with my phone under my pillow. Yeah, I started with a BlackBerry, but I then moved to a phone. And it was a joke, but it actually, really wasn't. And it's not that someone demanded that I respond to an email within 10 minutes if I could. It was more that I just understood that a client's needs, and sometimes more importantly, their anxieties, don't clock out at 5 p.m. So being available and being there for them, and it's not that you have to have the answer right away or in the moment, but a simple, hey, I got your email. I'll get back to you by X time. If you need it sooner, let me know. Or if you're out, hey, I'm gonna get so-and-so to follow up with you and make sure that you get what you need. I think acknowledging the ask, that's the key. It's not necessarily responding in the moment or getting them what they need right away.
Yeah, it's a really good point, because sometimes maybe there's a question you don't know the answer as the lawyer, and you feel overwhelmed by that, like, oh my gosh, I don't have the answer, and I don't want to get back to them with the wrong answer. But what I'm hearing is just quick response is better than nothing.
Absolutely. And sometimes, I send an email off on the other side because I've been on both sides. And I wonder, are they there? Are they going to respond to me? Did they even get it? Do I need to follow up? And that is increasing my cognitive load and the effort I have to put in. I shouldn't have to chase someone down, especially when I'm paying, high billing rates. I think it's part of the package, and it's really critical. And it's surprising how many lawyers don't get that.
So that's interesting. You talk about this concept of chasing lawyers down. So let's push that a little bit further. Do you ever feel like you're the one that's having to manage the law firms? Because one of the themes we heard here is that sometimes we are reactive and not proactive. So what do you see coming from firms? Is it something like, hey, where's that memo you were going to get me? How often does that happen? How does it make you feel? Talk to us about that.
I've had it happen before, and ultimately you end up selecting those law firms and lawyers out, I would say, because I just don't have the time. And I think the other thing is just showing up prepared and proactive is so critical. I can't tell you enough how many law firms or lawyers I've talked to who I'm thinking about engaging, and they show up completely unprepared. They don't know how to say my company name, which I know can be hard, it's Visco, but I've heard all permutations of that, Viesco, and it's something so simple, but it really matters because it shows me you didn't take the time or you don't care enough to actually go do a little bit of research. And I know time is precious, right, every 6 minutes, but just going and looking on our website, our app is free to download. And surprising, even candidates who sometimes are interviewing don't do that. But go do a little bit of research, and that to me signals that you are showing up and you actually want our business and you care about what we do. And then that's going to then feed into great service down the road, right? We're actually gonna service our needs and help me solve problems and reduce my load.
So to me, that fits into the bucket of the 1%. You think about it, we heard James Clear talk about it from Atomic Habits, that if we can do 1% more, it can make all the difference. Well, researching a prospective client or a current client takes very little time. And with our AI tools now, you can go on and just look up Visco and try to understand it, so it's something that everyone should be doing. Great point there. Okay, let's shift a little bit. I want to push deeper into this concept of the best lawyers that you work with. So do you find that lawyers you work with truly understand your business? Do they understand the issues, the problems, the dilemmas that are keeping you, your executive teams up at night? If so, how is that translating into their advice?
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say, yes, I'm very fortunate to work with lawyers and law firms that care, Fennemore's one, who care about our needs and are able to provide what we need. I think specialization is obviously really key, but really understanding our business and helping me look as a GC, right? And I also own other functions, but being able to look around corners is so critical. I can't tell you enough how much it means when a lawyer proactively messages me with, hey, did you see that new regulation? Here's a quick client alert that we sent out. I just wanted to make sure you saw it. It's like, oh, actually, I was gonna ask you about something else, so let's talk about that. And I think it just opens up the door to constant communication and ensuring that you stay on top of what our needs are. And our business shifts all the time, but knowing what are products in the market right now. Go look at a press release, right? Put alerts on so you know, oh, we launched a new product, or this news came out. And then, ask questions like, what are you launching in the next 6 to 12 months? And these are things I want you to think about. And these are, folks in our firm who can help you address some of those issues. And AI, obviously, understanding your client's AI needs. Either they're pushing out AI-powered products, or they're trying to implement it internally. And these are all novel issues that I would love support on and a thought partner. So again, I think finding lawyers that can service you and really understand your business. A really good example too recently is Dale Freeman, who I had the pleasure of working alongside with at a prior law firm. He recently helped us with, I think you're here, but helped us with a few M&A transactions. And yes, the goal of doing these tuck-in transactions was to acquire these companies and strategically build and multiply upon what we were doing. But another key kind of hidden goal was that we wanted to do these at a really efficient cost because we had to show ROI up front to our board. hey, we can do these, and they'll actually be helpful to our business right up front, because it takes time to integrate a business. And he got the assignment. I just needed a thought partner to help me through some issues. We managed it mostly in-house, but he made sure we got the deals done on time, and looked out for any material risks, and made sure that we were really happy with the bill. And that to me meant so much, and I think that was a really good example of someone who understood the whole picture.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. All right, good.
Yeah.
Good job, Dale. So a theme I want to tease out from what you said is you talked about maybe sending a client alert, and it sounds like you would say ideally with a little message. I think a question I hear a lot, or something I think about is, well, is that small touch point enough? We all know that, hey, if we sit down and have coffee with you, that's going to be a good thing. We can really understand it. But do you feel like the lawyer is bothering you? Because we want to be respectful of your time as well. So how would you balance those little touch points with some of the bigger ones, like the lunches, dinners, coffees, et cetera?
I think they're not at all infringing on my time, or they're super helpful. And an email I can look at whenever, right? I can set an alert and look at it later. But it just reminds you I'm here, I'm thinking about you, and if you need anything, please come to me. And I would say the lunches and coffee chats are great too. Just check in quarterly even if you're really busy. Set notes, hey, I should check in with this client and make sure they're doing okay. But that also gives you an opportunity and a window to learn about what they're doing. What new issues are they facing? Because I don't always think to go to outside counsel right away. I try to figure out how I can manage it. And then if I realize, oh, I could use some expertise or guidance on this, then I'll go out. But if you're readily presenting yourself as there and available and building that trust, I will go to you more often, and we'll work through things together.
That's great. All right, I would love to keep talking about this. There's so much more to say, but I have a final question, and probably the most important one here. If you could give the lawyers you work with one piece of advice, one operating principle when it comes to client service, what would it be and why?
Love that question. I would say know your client, and not simply in the compliance sense, because you should know that too, but really understand their pain points, what's keeping the GC up at night. Who's the team? Who's the contact you have at the company? Is it the GC? Sometimes it could be the CFO because it's pre-GC. Is it the DGC? Is it someone on the team? Understand the dynamics of the team. How do they work? What are the things that they're kind of concerned about in the moment and also long term? And also maybe they're owning other functions. So I actually took on trust and safety. We're keeping over 300 million users safe, from abusive content. That's a whole different area. And then I also, because my team is so operationally great, we ended up taking over customer support, which isn't typically a legal function. But because of that, and it's a big nuance, I'm thinking about risk, our customers, and the business sometimes all at once. So I have very complicated analyses in my head, and an outside counsel who understands that and what I'm thinking through could be so valuable. And those are the people that I call and pick up the phone and don't hesitate, right, over and over again.
Amazing, amazing stuff. I hope everyone is taking notes on this. Sara, thank you for coming back and chatting with us. We could continue this, and I hope that you do. Sara will be available after this presentation, so find her, ask her questions. Sara, thank you so much. Everyone, put your hands together for Sara one more time. And by the way, Dale Freeman, where are you? Over here. All right, Dale, he made the connection to Sara. He has amazing client service, so you better talk to him too. Sounds like you are doing things right. Well done. Okay, so the question now is, how can we be like Dale and put this all together? What do we do with this? You heard the comments from Sara, which I think largely mirror what we're hearing from our broader client base. We know this concept of 1%. How do we do it? What does it look like in practice? We've tried to synthesize everything, and we're putting it into a framework we call, what else? More. M-O-R-E. Let's take a look. right. Well, that's exciting. M-O-R-E, what is it besides a fancy video? Apparently it's a very bright sun giving us all a tan right now. All right, let's talk about this. Move fast. This is the responsiveness piece we talked about. Every single client satisfaction I've ever heard about, read, looked at says this is at the top of the list, so we need to move fast to get back to our clients. Own the work. What does that mean? Well, there's a lot to it. In my mind, this is not only taking ownership of the matter, this is taking ownership of understanding your client. This is the partnership. This is understanding the business. Critical for good client service. Rally. What is that piece? Well, we just heard Sara talk about the concept of team, working as a team. So what does that mean at Fennemore? It means we work across offices. It means we work across practice groups. It means we work across departments. And there's a seamless handoff. We don't want clients feeling that, getting lost in the shuffle. Explain clearly. Okay, this is important, right? We know that the law can be technical, it can be complicated, but we need to distill that down without jargon, without legalese, into advice the clients can understand. This is our framework, these are our principles, and there's a lot more to discuss here. And we don't have time, unfortunately, but you can check out more, about more, on a landing page that is live, effective today. You can go to fennemorelaw.com/client service and you can read all about this. Now, importantly, this is not just an internal page where we can look at it. This is an external page that our clients will see too. So, makes us accountable. So I would encourage you to get familiar with it because you might just hear a client on the other end of a phone saying, well, hey, I checked out your more page and you're not rallying behind the scenes or being responsive. So know it. Okay, so you say, James, this is great. You've got the videos, you've got more, okay, I get it, but what does this mean in reality? I know that Brandon Blakely, Chelsea Adams, Jeff Tachiki, January Allen are feeling this right now. Maybe you are too. And the question is, are there impediments that can stop us from delivering great client service? Are there impediments that can stop us? The answer is, of course there are. There are lots of them. There are friction points. And I think one of the biggest ones that we should talk about here exists not in the external world, but it exists right up here, right in our heads. Well, what is that? The gentleman on my screen here behind me is Dr. Larry Richard. He's a JD, he's a PhD, he just loves school that much. And he has devoted most of his career to studying all of you. That's right, studying lawyers, the lawyer personality more specifically. That's how complicated we are. You have to devote your career to understanding us. So what did he do? He looks at the lawyer personality by examining the traits on the screen. And he's given literally thousands of personality tests to lawyers in the general population. And he's the author of a book coming out about this called Thin-Skinned. Maybe that tells you everything you need to know about lawyers. Thin-skinned. But there's a lot in there. And I think there's value in us understanding the lawyer personality versus the general population. But what's even better than that is understanding our personalities. How do we stack up to other lawyers? How do we stack up to the general population? Well, we're about to find out. How are we going to do this? You might remember a couple of months ago, I sent around an email asking you to answer questions about how you operate, how you think, how you respond to situations, and you might have been thinking, what is this all about? 250 of you responded, pretty good, and we took that information and we converted it into the same format that Dr. Richards uses here. So we want to take a look at this. I want to share the results with you, but this is Fennemore. We have, as Leslie said, lots of fun here, so we're going to have some fun in the way we do this. We're going to play a little game here that we call In Your Head. And to help us with this game, we are going to welcome back to the stage a couple of people who've been on it before. They did such a good job. We couldn't resist. Please join me in welcoming Alicia Moss and Spencer Shockness. Also coming on stage to help, Jenny Weaver and Tyson Dewey. Come on down. Here we go.
All right, thank you.
All right. Spencer, you were on stage at a retreat at the Biltmore in 2021. You were not even a lawyer yet.
Yes.
And you knocked it out of the park. Very good job. You remember that?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. How'd you feel getting on stage that time versus this time?
Well, when I got on stage that time, the feedback was, oh, you're a summer associate. This could go poorly for you. And I was like, oh. We had a guest speaker at the time, and he was like, oh, this is the guy that volunteered to come up here? Okay, cool. So I feel much more confident.
Obviously, it did not go poorly for you. Or maybe you're saying, oh my gosh, I'm back. It did. Okay. Yeah. Alicia, 1 year ago, you came on stage. You didn't even work at Fennemore.
No.
And you led a presentation in our hackathon.
I know, they told me I had to do it, and I said, I don't work here. That doesn't matter.
And then you were on the winning team?
Yes, we won. So I went home with cash.
Okay. All right, there you go.
For not working here.
All right, well, you were a winner once. We'll see if it can happen again. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show a personality characteristic on the screen, like you see right here, skepticism. What we're going to do is we're going to look at the general population here, U.S. lawyers in Fennemore. Starting with the general population, it will always be anchored at 50. That is the control for this data set. We're on a scale of 0 to 100. So when it comes to skepticism in the general population, 50 out of 100, 50th percentile. So now, by a flip of a coin, we determined that Spencer will have the honor of representing all U.S. lawyers here. Every lawyer in the U.S. Can you channel that?
I definitely lost the coin flip, guys.
He did the coin flip.
He absolutely lost.
All right, and Alicia will be representing all of you.
Yeah, right?
All of you.
Yes, I can do it.
Okay, so a lot of pressure here. Here's what we do. You see the characteristic, you write on these dry erase boards a number from 0 to 100. The person who's closest, without going over, will get a point. Jenny and Tyson will help us keep track of all of this. Whoever has the most points at the end will win a prize, walk away in glory. The loser will walk away in shame.
Yes.
Embarrassment. Okay, so high stakes. Are you ready?
Yeah,
okay, let's go to it. Go ahead. Spencer, write down. Alicia, write down what you think U.S. lawyers for you, Spencer, what you think Fennemore scored when it comes to skepticism, 0 to 100. All right, let's turn it around. Lawyer thinking hard over here. Okay, Spencer, you say U.S. lawyers 87. Tell me why you picked it.
I feel like there's a lot of people that would be generally distrusting of just information. And so generally, lawyers would be skeptical of things that they would see. So 87.
Group. All right, distrustful, skeptical. What do you think, Alicia? Fennemore?
I reversed it. Hold on.
Wait, judges, I don't know. Is this allowed?
Oh.
Go ahead. We'll give you one pass.
Give me one pass?
One pass.
One pass, because in the other ones, it's going to be the reverse number.
Okay.
For Fennemore. Because
all right, here we go.
Okay.
Take 2 for Alicia. Here we
all right, thank you. Thank you for the grace. I'm going to say Fennemore attorneys are only 15% skeptical.
15%, okay.
I think most people are not skeptical.
Let's see. All right. Can I get a drum roll for the reveal? If we have it. If not, we'll do one. Answer. Ooh.
Oh, wait.
Yo,
U.S. lawyers.
90.
Let's go.
Fennemore 85. We're still a pretty skeptical bunch. Spencer.
Yes.
You got this one. You get a point. Sorry, Alicia. That didn't work out for you.
No. Did not.
You know, your first answer might have been really good. Sorry.
I think it was.
Sorry.
I think it was.
You get another try, though. All right, let's move on and talk about autonomy. Autonomy. We're independent. We decide what we want to do on our own. Go ahead and write down your answers for U.S. lawyers and Fennemore. Okay, here we go. Spencer, what did you put for U.S. lawyers and why?
I went up 1 and just went 88 because I also feel like lawyers like to work by themselves for the most part, on the theme of distrusting general information in others. So
okay, we're painting a great picture of lawyers. We're distrustful. We want to work on our own. How about a Fennemore, Alicia?
Well, I think we work together, but I think we have autonomy because we're so brilliant and we're good at working for ourselves, but with others as well, which is autonomous in a way, too.
Okay, all right. I like it. It seems to be a little different in the narrative versus the number, but we're going with it. Okay, here we go. The answer is, we know the US population is 50, 89 apiece. Spencer Shockness coming in. Look at
Oh my
that.
goodness, how?
No. Oh no.
Unbelievable. Alicia, you've got some work to do.
I do. Spencer is so smart.
All right. You know, this is actually going to be a test of your resilience. Can you bounce back from that? See how I did
Yes,
that?
I can
All right.
do it.
Let's
For
talk about
Fennemore.
this now. Resilience, we're going to look at general population at 50. Let's get an answer for U.S. lawyers, Spencer, for Fennemore lawyers, Alicia. Resilience, our ability to bounce back from adversity. Spencer.
Okay, I went down to 71 because I feel like lawyers are very resilient, but I also know that resilience is a high bar and it's a difficult character trait. It's not for everybody. So
Okay, that's true.
why I
Yeah,
went
it's tough to be resilient. What do you think, Alicia?
Based on my experiences, my year here, I think we are incredibly resilient lawyers at
Oh, there we go, 95. All right.
I think we have a great support system in the firm, and that helps us be resilient.
We do have a great support system.
Yes.
Well, let's see what the survey said. Oh, Spencer Shockness. Sorry, you went over. 95, Alicia got it right. Look at that, there is quite a difference here. We've got some real data here we want to focus on. More resilient as a group than US lawyers. Okay, let's go to the next one. They both went over. They both went, oh, that's right, they both went over. Resilient recovering from that.
Oh, I did go over.
Okay, never
Because
mind.
I
You did
believe in
nothing.
us so much.
Psyching you out. All right, here we go. Let's go to the next one here. Let's talk about urgency. We've done this one. Let's go to urgency.
Oh.
Wait.
Oh.
You didn't see that.
Wait, what?
I missed it. I should have been looking this
We're
way.
going back.
You didn't see that. You didn't see that. Actually, we're going to go to
This is
autonomy.
We did autonomy already.
There we go. Okay.
We're good.
Resilience. Now we're back.
We gotta go.
Listen, this is live TV.
We're good.
This is live TV. Here we go. Urgency.
There we go.
This is where
Oh,
we're
all
supposed to go.
right.
All right, 3. We're coming here to general population 50. Boy, this is coming together beautifully, isn't it? Okay, where do you think an urgency? We want to get things done fast. I know everyone's saying, let's get on with this. Let's go, James. All right, here we go. Urgency. Spencer.
I went 31.
31. U.S. lawyers. Alicia.
85. I think we want to be urgent. We want to get our things done. We want to serve our clients well.
All right, here we go with the reveal. There we go. Look at you, Alicia, getting really dang close. We've got a point. No?
No.
No, I went over.
Oh, you're over again.
Because I believe in Fennemore attorneys more
Never
than the
mind.
survey.
You get nothing. It's a good thing I'm not a game show host here. All right, 3. And a score going on to 1. All right, here we go. Let's make this a bonus round. Let's see if we can get this right.
Let's do it.
Here we go. Okay, we're going to say this one is going to be worth 3 points.
Ooh.
3 points,
Watch out,
so you can have a
Spencer.
comeback.
That's right.
4 points. Let's make it. Let's just keep going with
All
it.
or-
5 points. All or nothing.
All doing it.
All or nothing.
Let's do it.
Winner of this wins it all.
Let's do it.
Here we go. Go back to 0, everyone. We're starting again. Here we go.
Oh, okay.
Sociability. Are we a social group? General populations at 50. U.S. lawyers, Fennemore lawyers. Spencer, what'd you put?
All right, I didn't want to go over, so I priced
Wow.
it
All
right.
right.
You really believe in lawyers there. Okay, Alicia.
We are so great. We are so social. We know how to interact with everyone.
Wow.
We're amazing.
99. Okay. 2 ends of the spectrum here. What do we have? Can I get a drum roll in the back to determine the winner in one question on sociability? Here we go. There we go. I think they both did such a good job. You both get a trophy. 2 winners. Let's get the trophies out. Everyone, give it up.
You're going to get the big trophy.
You get to share the big trophy.
Dude.
There we go, everyone. Put your hands together for our champions. 2 trophies each. Great job.
Thank you, Jen.
Got it. Oh,
Well done. Thank you. Good job, my friend.
thank you.
Woo. Well, that was fun. All right, so buried in that very interesting game show we had there which we got through together. Good job. That's a good example of teamwork. We talked about some concepts that are important. So how does this personality concept relate to our more framework? Well, I think the takeaway is we need to think about our own personalities. Do we have characteristics that will help us deliver great client service, like maybe that sociability that we saw from Fennemore, or maybe it's that resilience, or do we have characteristics that may stop it? Maybe we're so skeptical, we're skeptical of what our clients say. We're skeptical of their ideas, or maybe we're too urgent in our conversations. We're trying to move too fast through something that we're not building relationships. I challenge everyone to think about that and reflect on how we can use our own traits to improve client service. Some people that I know have great client service are in this room. They are new. If you look to your left and look to your right, there are probably some faces you haven't seen before. If you've joined Fennemore in the last 12 months, can I ask you to stand up, get on your feet so we can welcome you to the firm? Go ahead. Woo. A lot of people, a lot of new faces. There's a reason this is the biggest retreat we've ever had. Now, I'm going to ask one more group to get back on their feet. The newest Fennemoids. That's what we call ourselves, Fennemoids. If you are from the law firm of Taylor Duma, where we have lawyers from coast to coast, from Florida to Philadelphia to San Francisco, please stand up. Stand up. Don't be shy. Welcome. These brilliant lawyers who deliver exceptional client service are part of our forward office, which now has lawyers and legal professionals in 80 cities around the country. Amazing, amazing. But we're not done. We have another group we want to welcome. The lawyers and legal professionals from Reynolds Law in Northern California. On your feet, full service business firm with an emphasis on T&E. Welcome. Please say hello to this crew, all of them. We want them to feel welcomed here at Fennemore. Underneath your seats, you have a copy of the 2026 strategic plan. Yeah, you can check it out. There's a lot in there. This talks about what's happening in the marketplace, where we are going, how we're tackling the challenges. Has some pretty cool pictures in it too. That's right, we're lawyers. We're going to absorb all that information now. Don't worry, you'll have time later. So let me give you some highlights from this year's strategic plan. Of course, you can't have a plan in 2026 that doesn't deal with artificial intelligence, and we do deal with it here. It's hard to believe that it was 1 year ago that I stood on this stage and we introduced our new system that we called, with the great sound effects and all, DOT. And when I stood here, I didn't know what the adoption level would be on DOT. Would we use it? Would we not? Here's what we know now. Less than 1 year after the launch of our partnership with OpenAI, we have had 5 million prompts entered into our system, our Fennemore ChatGPT. Huge number, and what's, I think, most surprising in a good way is that's growing at a very, very fast clip. 1.2 million prompts entered into DOT just last month in March. So you all are using it. I presume you're liking it. But maybe you're not. Maybe you say, James, there can be more, so we're not going to rest with what we have. We do have, coming to a computer near you soon, DOT 2.0. So this is going to be everything you know and love about our current DOT, but it's going to be what I heard from Dean backstage, is he called it DOT with the easy button. Easy button for law. So it's going to allow you to focus in on your areas of practice in ways that you can't now. We have a Swiss Army knife of a tool. But if you want to work on motions, on pleadings, on deal docs, you can do it through this new system. It's going to be fantastic. That will be coming out later this year. So stay tuned for that. Also last year, we talked about a concept of driving for daylight. Driving for daylight. This is meeting the world, the changes on the horizon, making sure we're reacting so we can be ready. And when we discussed this, we introduced Essential Law, which is the firm's flat fee subsidiary where we're using all types of great technology and artificial intelligence to deliver services to our clients online in a new way. 1 year later, where are we? Well, I'm very happy to share that Essential Law has been electrified, and we are very close to launch. We have a working prototype in the back. There's a 50-inch screen where you have Spencer Stromberg and Brett Sullivan that will show you what this Essential Law tool actually looks like, what it can do. And I will say, this isn't just about Essential Law. We've already learned a lot about our broader use of technology just by pursuing this Essential Law path. So really exciting stuff there. We do have this F1 theme, and it is fun. We get to dress up. We get to put on all our garb tonight, but it's more than just fun. There actually is a reason we wanted to talk about this. And it's this concept of successful F1 teams do have something in common with law firms. The gentleman on the screen behind me is Michael Schumacher. Anyone heard of him? Yeah, a lot of people. Because Michael Schumacher is widely regarded as one of the best, if not the best F1 driver in history. Amazing talent. In 1996, Michael Schumacher decided that I want to move to a new team. I want to move to a new team. And he had a lot of choices. He was a good driver. He'd won championships in the past. And he decided that in 96, he was going to go to the team of Ferrari. Ferrari. We say, well, that's a no-brainer, James. Yeah, Ferrari. Exotic cars, super fast. Why would he not choose Ferrari? Well, I'll tell you a reason. It's because Ferrari, at the time in 1996, was a losing team. They had not won an F1 championship in 2 decades. Yet Michael Schumacher decided, I'm going to go to Ferrari. And the question is, well, why did he do that? Was it money? He had lots of money being thrown at him from lots of teams. He could have gone anywhere he wanted. He could pretty much name his price. Michael Schumacher said, I chose Ferrari because I saw potential in the team, in the chemistry, in the people that Ferrari had assembled. But they weren't operating in sync. So the first thing he did is he didn't jump in the car and start doing laps. The first thing he did was call a team meeting. And the meeting included everyone on the Ferrari team. It included the fabricators, the mechanics, the engineers, the guy who swept the garage floor. All of them got together in a room. And Michael Schumacher said that our success as a Ferrari team will be won or lost on our ability to problem solve together, on our ability to have each other's backs, on our ability to borrow a phrase that I heard from a high school student recently in a presentation in Phoenix. Travis knows about this. Move as one. We will move as one as a team. And that's exactly what Ferrari did with Michael Schumacher and everyone else. They did it lap by lap, minute by minute, second by second. And over the course of a 3-year period, much like we heard about in the Tour de France video from James Clear, they transformed that team. They elevated their game. And it got to the point where they won in 2000 a first F1 championship. And the next year a second, and a third, and a fourth, and a fifth, until that team that had been not winning found the best in themselves and became one of the most dominant teams in F1 history.